Minister in the Presidency, Jackson Mthembu, has been laid to rest at the Pretoria Memorial Park Cemetery in Ackerville in Mpumalanga. Paying tribute to the late minister, President Cyril Ramaphosa urged South Africans to regard service to the country as the highest calling with humility and courage. Ramaphosa gave the eulogy at Mthembu's final farewell.
On this day, a great shadow has fallen and hangs over this province of the rising sun. And it also hangs heavily across the entire land. Minister Jackson Mthembu, Comrade Jackson Mthembu is no more. For those who knew him, for those who worked alongside him, for those who counted and relied on him, for those who were led by him, who learned from him, for those who loved him, it is unbearable that we will never see Jackson Mthembu again. I was shocked, I was sorrowful and heartbroken when I received the news of Jackson Mthembu's passing from Minister of Health, Dr. Zweli Mkhize, and the doctor who was in charge of treating him on Thursday. And with a heavy heart, I immediately called the officials of the ANC, the Deputy President, David Mabuza, the National Chairperson, Gwede Mantashe, the Secretary General, Ace Magashule, the Deputy Secretary General, Jesse Duarte, and the Treasurer General, Paul Mashatile, and broke the news to them. They were all consumed by disbelief and deeply moved in their grief. They each later told me that the news of Comrade Jackson's passing was too heavy for them to bear, and they privately shed their own tears, as I did. The news of Jackson's passing has struck a deep and solemn note to many of us. I remembered the words of William Shakespeare that when sorrows come, they come not as single spies, but in battalions. The coronavirus has caused so many sorrows in our country and in our communities. Our society, like most around the world, has been plunged into turmoil. We have lost so many lives to this deadly disease. There have been many tears and grief in so many homes. We've had to endure so much that at times it has seemed too great a grief to bear. And now the stroke of death has taken the very one who has been our citadel, our rock, and our tower of strength at this deadly moment in our country's history. Amidst this great upheaval, when our people are so fearful of the future, they have looked to leaders like Jackson Mthembu for reassurance and for certainty. As the minister in the presidency, he was the public face of our government communications as it communicated its policies and its decisions. During the pandemic, Minister Jackson Mthembu carried our message of compassion and solidarity and unity across the nation. He was at the forefront of our national effort to contain the coronavirus pandemic, the very pandemic that has now claimed his life. When we found ourselves close to despair, as a people and as a nation, he offered hope. When our nation's spirits were down and flagging, he was one of those who lifted them. He brought clarity and certainty and utmost professionalism to every task he was assigned. He has left a huge void in our government, and some have even suggested that Jackson Mthembu is irreplaceable, that there was only one Jackson Mthembu. That void is in our movement, to which he dedicated his life, and in the country of which he was a great and proud citizen. Mvelase was among those infinitely rare individuals in our politically charged society. It has been profoundly touching and moving to witness how the news of Jackson Mthembu's passing stilled the clutter and the bickering that has consumed us in recent times and united us in our sorrow. One dare hope that the sentiment that has been displayed at Jackson Mthembu's passing is a reminder that we have far more in common than we may choose to believe, whether as members of society or as members of various political parties. After all, we all want one thing. We all want what is best for the people of our country, which he championed so well. We have lost a man who was able to transcend political differences and to reach out and forge alliances in pursuit of a common goal. He was a person who was admired and respected across political party lines. We need more men and women like him who understand and appreciate that we are all heading in the same direction, and that the onward march to a better South Africa is so much easier when we work together, a concept that he kept preaching all the time. He was a man who was greatly respected and loved by his family, by his community here in Ackerville, by his colleagues in cabinet, by his comrades in the ANC, by his fellow members of parliament, and by his friends, as we heard earlier. Also by those he dealt with in the media, with whom he had a long-standing and cordial relationship. As for me, I have lost not just a dependable colleague and a comrade. I have lost a dear friend, and it is a loss that I feel most keenly. Minister Mthembu had many virtues that I observed over the many years of our working together and of our friendship. He was generous in spirit and had a charming personality, as all those who interacted with him and met him will be able to testify. He had the enduring ability to lift anybody's mood, including my mood, and to fortify my resolve in even the most difficult situations. His sense of humor was often most irreverent. He laughed, and he laughed like someone who really loved life. He laughed about many things that he probably shouldn't have laughed about, just as he cared deeply about everything that he should. He was a principled person and a man of great courage in times of both calm and difficulty. But above many other things, Jackson Mthembu was an honest man.